Okay, so we're back, and what you should think about now is there's been an offer,
An acceptance.
and so now that there's this contractual relationship
Because there's
that's formed,
consideration, both parties are getting some benefit from the deal.
right, and so now either party has walked away, broken the contractual relationship, and so you think about there has been a breach. What happens? Well, what you should keep in mind is that the goal of the court, whenever there has been a breach by either party, is to put the non-breaching party in the position that he or she would have been in had the contract been performed. Now, when that plays out, it's going to look different depending upon who breached, when they breached, what kind of relationship they had. So the goal is to put the non-breaching party in the position they would have been in had the contract been performed.
Okay, so you are homeowner, you hire me, painter, to paint the basement. We have a bilateral contract. So we agreed last Tuesday that this Saturday at 4 o'clock I'm going to show up, and you're going to pay me $500.
And you said it was bilateral.
Bilateral. So
Okay.
we had that commitment was made last Tuesday.
Yes.
That's when we exchanged our promises. We committed each other Tuesday, but it's bilateral things are going to happen in the future. The future is now here, Saturday. I'm painting. You're paying me $1,000.
Okay.
However, before I got here, I was on my way Saturday. But before I got there, so I hadn't been there yet. You called me and said, "Sorry, there's been an emergency. I gotta leave. Don't come." I turn around and go back home. Question: do I have any rights against you?
Answer: yes,
Yes.
you do.
Yeah, I do because, well, why do I have any rights? I mean, I haven't done any painting, but the idea is, well, when I entered this contract, what benefit was I seeking? What was I getting out of it? So the idea would be, my remedy, if you want to put me in the same position I would have been had the contract been performed, what would you give me? The answer is just give me my labor, which was zero, plus the lost profits of the deal, whatever they may have been. That puts me in the same position I would have been had the contract been performed. Remember, we had that contract Tuesday. You just can't get out of it now. Whether that was Tuesday an hour after you made it, or whether it was Saturday the day I was going to perform, that time period from Tuesday to Saturday does not mean you can get out. Why? Because you had a bilateral contract. Now, if this has been a unilateral contract, if you said to me, "Sam, I will pay you a certain amount of money if you paint my house on Saturday," I never gave you a commitment I was going to paint, which means I never had to show up.
Right.
And the idea being you could revoke my offer, your offer, anytime before I showed up, which you would have done in this case. But it was a bilateral. We exchanged promises. We both have rights against each other if one of us breaks. Flip it around. Suppose I called you and said, "Homeowner, I can't make it Saturday." What would you do? You'd go out on the market, mitigate, look for another painter, get him to come and paint, and if he charges more money, sue me for the difference. You're just as happy. You have the house painted for the same price, so you're in the same position you've been had the contract been performed. So those are your two basic sets of remedies. There are two formulas. The first one was labor plus lost profit. That is when in this case the homeowner breached what I breached rights I have against you. The second one was when I breach, you go on the market and you get someone else to sue for the difference. Now, what about if you hired me, I'm the painter, and I've got this whole room to paint, but I paint all the room except for that little corner over there. How much money do you have to pay, if anything? Have I breached? The answer is no, I have not breached. My responsibility as a painter is not to do the entire performance, believe it or not, but to do substantial performance. How much is substantial depends on the situation, but certainly we know substantial is more than half at the very minimum.
Right.
So, but in this case, clearly I've done substantial performance. So technically there's not a breach, but do you pay me the $1,000 that you owe me? No. Again, you go out, you get someone to paint that little corner, and then you pay me the $1,000 minus how much it costs for you to get the job completed. So the key concept here is substantial performance. That's my responsibility, not total performance, just substantial performance.
And then another remedy, you probably won't see it that much, but another remedy that you should at least know about is one that we call specific performance. You don't see that a whole lot. Specific performance is only a reasonable remedy whenever we're talking about something that's unique. You know, just this one piece of art.
Yeah, money won't cut it.
Right. Money won't cut it. This parcel of
Can't
land.
buy it on the market.
Right. So it has to be unique. That's when specific performance is an adequate remedy. And I think that's all they really need to know about remedies.
Yes.
Okay, so that's it for remedies, and we're going to come back in just a moment and talk about a couple of other things that you should know.